Mike Armstrong from Armstrong Advisory Group joins us now. Mike, good to see you again. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of you. At least we have over the last couple of weeks, and maybe
we certainly have.
Still to come. All right, so the president is asking for patience. I looked at a couple of my financial accounts over the weekend. I don't recommend it. Everything's down now pretty substantially.
Yeah, we're back, at least on the S&P 500, to levels we haven't seen since about September of last year. Certainly wiped out any gains from earlier this year. NASDAQ, single worst day since 2022. So however you want to define it, it's been a rough patch for equity investors in the United States most recently.
Okay, and there are still plenty of fears and still lots happening every day. Fears of a larger trade war, of course. Today, the Premier of Ontario, Canada, announcing a 25% price hike on electricity service to 3 U.S. states in response to Trump's tariffs. Those taxes traditionally passed on to consumers. So your thoughts on that?
Well, I think there is just an immense amount of policy uncertainty right now, and historically, policy uncertainty has led to equity market volatility, and we're all experiencing quite a bit of it right now. Sunday, as you mentioned, on Fox, I believe, President Trump was asked about the possibility of recession and refused to rule it out, which I know a lot of people appreciate his honesty in the role and transparency and kind of quickly answering questions, but I've never seen a president say something like that. Usually there's a pivot on the question and, you know, kind of deflecting to another area. And so I think people are finding that compelling right now. The problem with policy uncertainty, though, is it can pretty quickly and easily snap back in the other direction. And I think that's what has investors nervous on both sides right now is, hey, yeah, a lot of this stuff, if it stays in place, could be quite difficult for companies and the economy in the short term, but I keep asking myself, would anything surprise me if next week there was a tweet or Truth Social post about all of this being wrapped up and no longer in place? I wouldn't be shocked.
It's hard for companies to make decisions.
Yeah.
Most certainly, yeah. And you're starting to see that in terms of hiring freezes, not seeing a lot in the way of layoffs other than at the government itself, where you have seen hundreds of thousands in that area. But that would be the next step. But I would also encourage people to remember, usually historical recessions, you don't see the job loss ahead of the recession. It is very late in the game that you actually see companies laying people off.
All right, let's talk about people who are in the market right now. I know the advice with any kind of a downturn is to stand pat, hold firm, leave things where they are. Does that apply now, given this uncertainty from a policy perspective?
I'm going to give it a caveat. You have to be able to ask yourself and answer honestly, did I prepare for something like this? Or did I hire somebody who prepared for something like this? So I can ask them the question. But in the event of a further equity market downturn, do I know what I would do next? Do I know where my next dollar of income would come from? Let's say I'm retired and actually living off this money. Or do I not really think through that stuff? Have I not made those types of plans? If you can't answer that question in 2 or 3 sentences or get the answer to that question pretty easily, that's the reason to take a second look, because nobody knows in the short term if this gets better or worse next.
And even you said we erased about 6 months of gains, but even back in the middle of last year, the markets were still at record highs. So.
Yep, they were. And part of this is probably just a reorientation of valuations that got pretty nutty over the course of the last couple of years.
Okay. Mike Armstrong, thanks as always.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.